Welcome to Telltale Books videos. I'm Greg, and I'm going to be discussing in this video a the first book in a series by Sarah J. Maas, her first series and her first book, Throne of Glass. I read this as a buddy read with my good friend Samantha, who blew my mind when she said she hadn't read this yet. She'd only read The Assassin's Blade. She has the whole series, but she'd only read The Assassin's Blade, and she's this huge Sarah J. Maas fan. When I first started talking to her, the first thing she did is sold me on reading ACOTAR with her. So I have the entire ACOTAR series. I have the entire House of Crescent City series, it's called. House of Earth and Blood, House of Sky and Breath, and House of Flame and Shadow. I've got all three of those. And now she's got me buying all these Throne of Glass books. So very, very soon I will have everything that Sarah J. Maas has published. And I have been enjoying them. So I have to thank Samantha for introducing me to some literature that's way outside of my comfort zone, but which really is good and enjoyable. And it's undeniable that Ms. Maas has really had a huge impact on publishing and on the fantasy genre with these books. She's created the genre of romantasy. You could argue that it goes back to Twilight, but the Throne of Glass and ACOTAR series are the ones that are the really big sellers that have really been driving a whole wave of romantasy and even the creation of the name for this new genre called romantasy. And so these have become important works for that simple reason. I mean, it's like Lord of the Rings creating the fantasy genre. It's like Frankenstein creating the science fiction genre. This is a huge thing. So Throne of Glass is the name of the series, but it's also the name of the first book. And this is the recent reprintings with the new covers. Most people, the most collectible editions and what most people want are the original editions, the first editions. I gotta say, I like these covers better. They have a they have a feel to me of 1940s book cover design and illustration. They have a feel of the old Disney um, animated feature films. And so they just are a lot more appealing to me as a designer, as an artist. I love these covers. So I'm collecting all of the current covers. And so far I've got this, I've got book 2, Crown of Midnight, and I've got the Assassin's Blade. I've got the Assassin's Blade is actually book 8, but you're supposed to read it third in order, according to Sarah J. Maas. So I got book 3 on order. That's actually probably at my house already, down in Sheboygan. And before the week is out, I'll be ordering book 4 because we're reading through these back to back. And so we're going through them very quickly. I've already gone through book 1. I'm already almost done with book 2. So, what is Throne of Glass? Um, the elevator pitch would be this is ACOTAR, but for young adult audience, because there isn't any explicit sex in this. It does get into some dark emotions, some really hefty battles. People are getting really beat up and cut up. So it does get a little violent, but you do not have the graphic sex descriptions that you'll get in the Akatar series. So this book is actually more appropriate for your teenager, and so is book two so far. No, there is romance going on, but the actual description of what's happening doesn't go beyond kissing, and then it's implied that things happened overnight. So it's pretty PG. And that, like I say, that's continued all the way through book two. I gotta read the rest of them. From what I've heard, the rest of them maintain that, so they are truly YA. And you can allow your teenager to read these without concerns about content. The basic synopsis: the story starts out at a death camp mine, place where the king of this kingdom, forget the name of it, he sends criminals to die, basically. It's brutal work, mining ore by hand, mining iron ore by hand. Toxic toxic fumes conditions, brutal guards whipping them and beating them and raping them. Although that's only said, it's not described. But nobody leaves this place alive. But the prince, the king's son, shows up with the captain of the guard. And they select this one young woman. She's only like 17 years old, but she was an assassin. As a teenager, she was an assassin, and she was a very famous assassin until somebody set a trap for her and caught her for the king, and the king sent her to this death camp. And that should have been the end of her, but the prince goes and pulls her out of the death camp and brings her back to the kingdom, the main city, name of which is eluding me at the moment, to enter her in a competition to become the king's champion. Now, of course, everybody's expecting her to die in this competition, but they promise her that if she makes it, she only has to work as the king's champion for 4 years, and then she'll have her freedom. So she enters into the competition, and she's up against some very, very tough criminal, extremely excellent fighters. But she very quickly realizes that this one guy that is more than meets the eye. Cain is his name. And he's using some kind of trickery to get himself ahead in the competition. And so the whole book is going through the competition step by step, and developing as she finds out more about what's going on with Cain, and as she develops friendships and even a budding romance throughout this novel. And I can't tell you how it ends, because it ends in a way that makes you want to get right into Crown of Midnight. It's a very well told story. It's not great literature, but it's a lot of fun. It's gripping, it's exciting, it'll glue you to the pages. There's a lot of cool things going on. Um, I had to suspend my disbelief for the main character, Selena, because I mean, a teenager who is the greatest assassin in the whole world, and she walks around with this snarky, better than everyone attitude. I didn't like her, and I had a hard time believing the character. I had a hard time believing that someone so young could have achieved so much and still only be 17 years old, and then be sent to a year at a death camp and be rescued from there all skin and bones and ready to pass out, and be able to train and go up against these seasoned fighters in competition. It was a lot to buy, a little tough to buy that stuff. But if you can bite your lip and just push through it, it's a good story. And you eventually, the characters eventually come around to be likable. And although the prince, I sent a I sent a meme to Samantha about the Steve Martin Saturday Night Live skit, Two Wild and Crazy Guys. That's how I picture the prince. That kind of total asshole, loser, womanizer type, wearing polyester shirts and a porn stash. That's just how I picture this prince. Um, and we got a kick out of that. But it's a very, very good story. And book two is just as good. And I will get to that after I will do a review of that after I finish it. I've finished Throne of Glass. It's not normally my cup of tea, but it's a very good book. If you like the new genre of romantasy, Throne of Glass is kind of where this got rolling. The fairy romance, extreme fantasies that are just flying off the presses right now. This all got started with Throne of Glass. This was her very first novel. And it deserves it. It's a very good novel. It's really enjoyable. So much so that I did decide to start investing in all the hardcover editions. I started out reading it as an ebook because I wasn't sure about it, but I liked it enough that now I am buying all the hardcovers. I've got 3 of them already, and I'm most of the way through the second one. And the fourth is on its way in the mail right now. So have you read Throne of Glass? What do you think? What do you think of Sergei Maas? Leave your comments in the comment section of the video where everybody can read and enjoy what you have to say and maybe learn something about these things from it. I've seen a lot of, on other videos, other stories that I've covered, not Sergei Maas, but other authors, I've had some really, really intelligent comments that have given me perspectives on things that I didn't think of. And I've learned something from it. I love that. I want more of that. I want to hear from you. Even if your comment isn't particularly brilliant and it's just, I really love that book, put it in there. I want to hear it. And come on back for the rest of the Throne of Glass series. Crown of Midnight coming up and more after that. Unfortunately, once I finish all the Throne of Glass books, there's still 3 ACOTAR books that I have not done videos on. One that I have yet to read with Samantha, and then there's all the Crescent City, which I have. We haven't read them. We got to get into those. I hear those kind of tie all 3 series together into one cool multiverse type thing. I'm looking forward to learning more about that. I hope you are too, and I hope you'll join me for that adventure and all the other stories and authors and topics that we talk about here in Telltale Books.